Welcome to Tips, the Townsend Institute podcast series, a show produced by the Townsend Institute at Concordia University, Irvine. This podcast shares stories of leadership, coaching, and counseling experiences that have shaped the lives and careers of our guests, who then provide tips aimed toward helping listeners grow in both their personal and professional lives. I'm Dr. John Townsend, psychologist, organizational consultant, and author of over 30 books, including the New York Times best-selling Boundaries series. I'm also the founder of the Townsend Institute, and I'm excited to introduce your podcast hosts, Dr. Ashlie Andrew and Dr. Gilbert Fugit.
Welcome, everyone. We are excited for a special Christmas edition. Ashlie and I get to interview Dr. John Townsend because at this time of year, sometimes you're experiencing joy and excitement and hope, but other times maybe not as much. And so today we get to explore what the excitement could be and some of the stressors. And I think this will be a lot of fun.
That's right, Gilbert. John always has such good outlooks where he can really capitalize on the highs of highs, but also recognize that sometimes the holiday season is filled with a lot of lows for people. So tune in, everybody, as we hopefully shed some realistic light on what comes with the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. We wish you all a very Merry Christmas. We thank you for tuning in, not just to this episode, but to the Townsend Institute podcast all year long. Let's get started. Welcome back, everyone, to the Townsend Institute podcast series, and let us be just another one to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I'm joined here today, of course, by my co-host Gilbert, and Dr. Townsend is with us today. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, hi, everybody. Hello. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas. And we don't know where you're coming from today. You might be listening to us in the car as you're finishing up your shopping, or maybe you're trying to get a workout in at the gym. And if that's you, kudos to you. Or maybe you're just multitasking and you're online shopping, trying to finish up that last bit of to-do list here. So wherever you are, thank you so much for tuning in to the Townsend Institute podcast series.
They could be in their closet in the fetal position, like crying, trying to get through it. So this might really be helpful to them.
We may be a lifeline for that part.
we might be. We'll settle in, keep it going. Hopefully you walk away from this podcast episode just feeling a little bit better and hopefully having just a little bit more hope and joy in your lives here this special Christmas season. So Dr. T, we're going to start right into it, and we're going to talk, we all know that with the Christmas season comes a lot of joy, happiness, hope, excitement, but with it also comes the adverse of that, right? And sometimes there's grief and there's guilt and there's heartache. Talk to us a little bit in all your years of traveling around and working with people and groups and even organizations. What are just the different things you see people dealing with this time of year?
It's really true, Ashlie. Christmas is meant to be a time of celebration of Jesus' birth, the Savior, right. And the thing that sort of changed everything and gave us all hope. And so there's that part to it. But the problem is we live in a real crazy world, and it's not a perfect world. And you find out that in people's lives that the more they feel the words you put out, like joy and hope and happiness, there's another, that's what we would call the ideals of life, the things we all strive for: joy, hope, happiness, relationships, family. There's always another side of the coin. And the other side of the coin is loss, expectations, not knowing you can keep everybody happy, your schedule, money, those sorts of things. And you really can't get rid of one or the other. If you get rid of one or the other, we call that denial. Either, you're like Susie positive all the time and you make everybody crazy, or you're Dan depressed all the time and you kind of suck everybody dry. And so what we want to do maybe is to help people see that it's okay to talk about those other things you mentioned, Ashlie, and what to do about them.
John, I love how you talk about these different, sides of the coin, right? You got joy and hope and ideal, and then there's loss and all that. What do you think is a good way for folks as they're going through this to kind of survive or maybe even thrive during during this Christmas season? Because if families coming to town or not coming to town, and what do you think?
Well, I've got some suggestions, and the way to look at this is, we're all wired differently inside. And so I'm really not a fan of the one size fits all solution. You know, there's an old Buddhist proverb that says, "Beware the person whose only tool is a hammer, for he sees every problem as a nail." So I don't want to say, "Here's yours," because it's going to fit you, because it just never does. But I do have some for that. I have four basically, based on our model that we train here with the institute. And and probably our listening family will go, well, the first one, that was great, I'm fine there, but the second one, wow, that hit home. So maybe we can cover our whole audience if we just go into suggestions about on those four. Would that work, Gilbert?
I actually think you're gonna help everybody out tremendously if
I
we
think
do it.
so. I think you're going to help me out because on any given day, I feel like I need to wrestle with the whole
Yes.
spectrum of emotions. So let's get right to it, John.
Or you're not kidding. All right. Well, the first one is to be sure, and this is going to sound weird, just to be sure you don't move into holiday isolation. People go, "Oh, I'm around people all the time, and I'm a party." I know, but are you with people all the time on a drain level or on a gain level? You know, that's the whole thing, is that Christmas is a time of giving, but it never says it's a time of getting yourself sucked dry so that you can't even move because you've been like giving and giving and giving and then going inside your head and not being able to talk to anybody. So the way that God built us, and this is what the neuroscience also says, is sure, you got people around you, but when you feel the stress, if I'm doing too much, I'm staying up too late, I'm spending too much, I'm eating too much or whatever, our tendency is to shut down and go inside. I'll just handle this myself. I don't want to bother anybody else. I'm not a burden. But yes, actually, we are burdens. And it's good to be a burden because it helps other people to grow and love you. And so to go, and this is so hard for people, this first one is to go out of the normal of God. I don't want to bother them. I'll just shut down. I'll suck it. I'm an athlete. I'll suck it up and say, I need to call somebody and say, you got 15 minutes. I just need to vent. The kids went nuts, so we got a problem here at my house. And let somebody just be in the well of love and pain and with you, and you will but not believe how much better you'll feel, and because you're getting the fuel of life. So prepare to not go into holiday isolation. Instead, prepare to say, I got to reach out to people, not just to give to them, but also to say, can we make a few minutes about me? I just need somebody to kind of contain me. I'm upset, feel bad, discouraged, overwhelmed.
That's so important too. That's those safe people you talk
Yes.
about, right, John, in your books, and our students get a lot about that. But just in life, and it doesn't have to be a lot of them, right? Who are
Oh,
just a
I'd say
couple people.
three to seven in a life is a good life.
That's great. I like that, and I like that adage that you said: drain or gain. Right?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
draining you, but where are you able to get fueled up, and
Yeah.
how important that is. So,
Right. That's
okay,
the three positions. There's the draining relationships. You got to have a few, and there's the
yeah.
gaining relationships. And you should get more, and then there's isolation.
Mm-hmm.
And watch out for that one.
Watch out for that.
I should make stickers maybe at our holiday or our Christmas party this year, for my family and stuff. Drain or gain, right? Like, oh, this is a drainer. Like, just so everybody knows, like, if you talk to that person, it might drain you a little bit. But
Gilbert's a real fan favorite at his family holiday
I want to
party.
go to your party, Gilbert.
like, what is he? Don't
As
worry
long
about
as you give me a G on my head, not a D, that's all.
All right. So now, as we apply this more to our Townsend model, and again, a lot of our listeners are familiar with your work or with our programs. For those that aren't, hopefully you've heard in the past, but we use the acronym ASIA. So attachment, separation, integration, adulthood. Maybe walk us through a little bit. Those who have strengths or perhaps deficits in some of these character capacities, how do holidays like Christmas and New Year's and this time of year affect those?
Yeah, and very much. In fact, we just kind of covered the first one because attachment's all about isolation and being vulnerable and knowing when you need something for somebody to lift your tank up so that you don't go into addictive behaviors or compulsive behaviors or just isolation. So that's one of the capacities that we need. And so it only comes from relationship. And then when you have it, a lot of people say, I don't want to talk to people. They can't solve my problem. No, they may not be able to solve your problem, your money problem, your health problem, or whatever. But they can they'll give you the wherewithal to take it another day. We call that emotional presence. And all the research in the world talks about how presence makes you feel better and have more strength to take it. So that's number one. Now, Ashlie mentioned the S, and that means separation. And what that has to do is we need to not only be related, but we also to be able to own that we're a person. Even a great marriage is not one person. It's two people, two souls in one relationship, and we were meant to be individuals. What does that mean? It means you've got to be able to say no sometimes and set boundaries. All the boundaries work we do with the Institute, or to be able to confront well and tell somebody this is a problem for me, or to disappoint people and say I can't be there for you, this sort of thing. And it's a big issue. And so here are the holidays. If you've got problems with boundaries and separation and saying no, oh my goodness, watch out, because the world is telling you you'd better say yes. You better spend it. You better spend money with me and time with me. And everybody in the world wants a piece of you. And you don't really blame Christmas for this. It's just it's all it's exaggerated because of all the need and all that sort of thing. And I've just seen so many people enter with a holiday depression. I mean, the CEOs and pastors and people I work with will say, I just hate this because everybody wants more of me than I have, and I want to be a nice person. I don't want to let them down. And so make sure, and I'm going to say this in a way that's going to be hard for some people, you got to be a little bit selfish. Oh, I don't want to be selfish. I understand. I don't mean selfish, but you've got to think, if I don't say no here, I'm not going to have the energy to take care of what's my priorities and the people I love and the things I need to do to have self-care. And the big surprise is you'll find that the good people in your life and your family will go, you need to go away for a few hours and take care of yourself and jog or work out or just read or watch TV. They'll go, yeah, you need it. I need it. Go do it. I'll take care of things. And the people that aren't so okay will say, well, I thought you were like a holiday person. You're a Grinch. And you go, no, I'm sorry you don't understand it, but I got to do it. So learn to be a bit selfish for yourself, not mean selfish, but reasonably selfish about the time you need to spend for you.
And I think that's so powerful because if you talk to those people and say, "Hey, do you think it's okay if your friend would go work out or go on a walk?" Well, absolutely. But yet they don't do it for their own self, and then sometimes they're miserable by the time it gets to Christmas because they're so frustrated and burnt out and
Yeah.
sick. Typically, sometimes they get their health gives out on them and things.
Funny you said that because I don't know when this is airing, probably pretty close to the holiday, and you might be saying, I don't have time to get any boundaries. I got like 72 hours to go. It'll make a difference. Start doing it right now. And you can change the whole habit for 2025, but you'll just have a kind of an uplift in, your endorphins to go, I had a choice. And I didn't have to take care of people, and I could say no to that person in my life. I'm not kidding. It'll be an immediate endorphin rush and help you to have a better day.
That's great. I mean, I need that right about now. So this is sounding good.
Don't.
Okay, so
Hey, I'm going to go get off the. I can't even be with you guys anymore today because I got to take care of myself. I'm listening to this stuff.
well, this is good. So you've talked about the attachment piece. We talked about the relationships and, finding those safe people, picking and choosing the separation piece and taking the time for yourself as necessary. Okay, let's go into I. Let's talk about the integration because I know personally speaking, this is something that I see a lot of those around me and myself probably dealing with a lot. So let's talk about integration.
Yeah, integration has to do with being able to embrace the negatives of life and live with the goods and the bads and not go all good or all bad or all perfect and all crummy or not to do catastrophizing and this sort of thing. And if if that can trigger anybody's issues of integration is the holidays, it's the big source because we all have that ideal Christmas in our heads of people we love being together and spiritual closeness and people appreciate us and warm times. And, it's not a bad thing, but if that becomes the minimum expectation of the holidays, we call that an idealistic perfectionistic fantasy. That's what
Yeah.
psychology, idealistic perfectionistic fantasy. And if that becomes my expectation, boy, I'm in trouble because all I need is for, alcoholic Uncle Willie to walk in and screw up the party. And then it's a bad year or some kid to melt down or I have a setback in money or whatever. And so
Mhm.
those of us in our listening family have a tad of, perfectionism. You've really got to take hold of that. And um, as we were setting up the program before we got started, actually, you mentioned the power of sadness and grief. And we think, I don't want to be sad and grieve in the holidays. Yes, you do. Because
Mhm.
if you don't, these expectations are going to hit you, and you will be mad at yourself. You'll get discouraged. You'll say, why am I not doing this right? Why is the world not doing this right? You'll go into what we call perfectionistic protest. It shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be this way. What a crummy way to go through Christmas, instead of going, yeah, I feel kind of wistful right now because some people in my life aren't here that weren't here, that were here
Hmm.
before,
Yeah.
or some things didn't happen, and that's sad. And let yourself feel sad, have a few tears. Grief is a healer, and I don't mean
Hmm.
like ruin the whole holiday with that, but just allow yourself when you have the sad feelings to feel them, express them, find somebody safe. It'll change everything of those of us who are kind of more prone to the idealistic perfectionism of the holiday.
I think of like Clark Griswold, right? When we think of the perfectionism, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, right? I mean, all the lights, and you have to do it all perfectly, and yeah, he can't.
We all that scene where he hits it the first time, you know,
Hmm.
and drum roll and nothing happens. We all know what that feels like, whether it's the wrong present or the wrong person, right?
Well, one person I was talking to, a client, and they were talking about, hey, they've been divorced now for a few years. They've started dating a wonderful person. He's coming to Christmas for the first time.
Pressure,
Yeah, adult children are going to be there.
more
How's
pressure.
So what do you think in that situation? What to be mindful about?
I know the first thing I would suggest if this person was hanging out with us,
Yeah.
I'd say have separate conversations. Don't let anybody gang up on you, but a conversation with new guy and a conversation with adult kids, separate, one on one, and say, "Are we going to have a great time? I don't know how this is going to go. I like you, you like me, we like everybody, but you don't know this person. I just have one request, that everybody be nice, play nice. And if you don't like each other, tell me in January, because I need a good Christmas, and I'm going to put time and effort into this, and look for the good. So no, like, little side comments and rollings of the eyes or whatever. I want everybody to be your best self. Abraham Lincoln used to say that we need to get hold of our better angels in civilization. So grab those better angels and say, I'll be my other stuff later, but we want to have a great holiday, and just appeal to that for them.
I love that. I like how you just said, look for the good, right? Because sure, there might be some guilt, some grief, some heartache, other places, but there's got to be little nuggets of good too,
Right.
right? I mean,
Or
I think even
somebody
just
might have kind of a personality disorder. Maybe they talk too much or whatever, and then
yeah,
just say that's great. Have some more turkey. I mean, be
yeah,
nice.
be nice.
It's
Yeah.
not a stretch.
Even in the Christmas story, right? Things didn't work out perfectly for Joseph and Mary, and
They
that
did not work out.
it all ended up being a miracle and a blessing, but it wasn't
Yes.
necessarily the perfect story all the way around. Well, those are very good recommendations there. Okay, so now talk a little bit then. The final piece of our character capacities of Asia is adulthood. How does that come about in the Christmas holiday season?
Well, to be adult means actually to be clear about the fact that you belong with other adults, that you're as good as any adult, that you feel mutual even with authority figures and bosses and teachers and pastors and politicians and all that. That even with that you belong. I like the way say it like that. You can sit at the table with the grown-ups, and the people that don't have that, they're always intimidated by strong figures, and they feel like I don't belong here. It's that whole imposter syndrome that people go through. I don't belong here. They're smarter, they're more accomplished, or whatever. I'm just a dummy, and they feel in a one-down position. They feel actually they feel like kind of like a child, like they don't belong. And so and the problem if you do that, whoever you're around that you really respect and maybe are a little bit intimidated by, not by them, but by their role in your life or in society or business or the church, you'll tend to you kind of like a turtle puts their head in their shell. You'll bring your talents back, and you'll bring your strengths back, and you'll kind of shut down like a little kid would be afraid. You won't have a great time if they don't get the best you. And so I'm assuming we've got 72 hours before Christmas as you're watching or listening to this, is just to think about what are three things that I bring to the table that really bless people and make them happy? Am I a good organizer? Am I good at music? Am I good at making people feel good? Am I good at truth? Am I funny? Do I have lots of wisdom? And kind of remember those things. And when you come to the meeting or the party or the family things, bring those things and think, how can I help others with them? And then you feel like a grown up, and grown ups feel fine at holidays.
I love that little tip there about the three things, because you're right. Oftentimes we get so deep into that imposter syndrome that we just sit there and we don't, well, okay, I'm kind of a loser. Uncle Bill has done all these things, or
Right.
whatever, and my cousin is doing all these great things off at school or their
And
job.
he's 4 years younger than me, and look what he's done and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, all of that, and we make all these excuses, and then we forget how God has blessed us and equipped us to do some great things there too.
Mhm.
I think that really struck a chord with me too.
Just remember them and then express them.
Another thing that folks talk about too, and this I think is also the guilt that goes along with, what if they can't go with their family, right? They can't be with their family during Christmas season. How do you handle some of those emotions that are going to come up? What are some things there?
You mean so somebody maybe moves away across the country and they can't be with the family and all this sort of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the antidote for guilt is really two things. It's value and sadness. And what I mean by that is to think, why am I feeling guilty? Because I love them. I wouldn't feel guilty if I didn't care about it. So I'm feeling a tad of guilt because I like to be with them. But really, I'm not a bad guy. I moved for a good reason. And I don't want to make them some fragile people that I'm abandoning them. And, they've got a house and they've got electricity. They're going to have a great time. They'll miss me, but they're not fragile and going to fall apart. So I value them so much, and I miss them. And I'll Zoom with them and this sort of thing. I mean, my Barbie and my kids are grown, so we had to do a lot of Zooming in the holidays. And we've learned how to do that and make the best of it. And actually, we kind of like Zoom and FaceTime and those sorts of things. And so when you allow yourself to say, it's because I care, and also they're okay, so they're not being devastated. So I just feel a little bit sad, and then I reach out.
That's a great point. Yeah, they're not. It's not like they're sleeping on the streets or something like that. They're doing
Or
fine.
sitting around saying, you know, this party sucks, but if Gilbert was here, he'd bring life to us because we have no life. It's not like that unless you've trained yourself to think you're responsible for everybody's feelings.
And that would be a really sad party if there was if
I would not go to that party, Gilbert.
No, I would. I don't think I want to be there either. So yeah.
I'd be a little nervous about its stickers if I'm a drainer or a gainer.
Oh, yeah, the D or the G. What are you walking around with?
Oh my goodness. These are all really great tips, John. I mean, you hit on so many of um, the highs and the lows that come with this time of year, really all year long. But for some reason, it just, like you said, feels a little bit more elevated at the holiday time. And part of that maybe is the media and the things that we're getting fed, right? Whether it's the, Christmas movies that you're watching, or I always crack up at these Mercedes-Benz commercials where people are getting.
Aren't they something?
Oh my goodness gracious. And you think if you don't have a white Christmas with a brand new car wrapped in a red bow, then, my kids are opening up underwear and they're going to be a little bit disappointed. So I guess one of my next questions is, you had talked a little bit about how you and Barbie have had to weather changes in holidays, from having young kids to now having adult kids, not yet grandkids. And so what has helped you and Barbie kind of navigate the changes in how the holidays have looked over the years?
Well, it started with birthdays for us, and now it's applied a lot to Christmas. Because of my travel, just because of what I do and all that, the boys and Barbie and I have always said, don't worry about the day off. If it's a birthday, if it's, your Father's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas, it's not the day off. Try to make it the week of. And so we kind of gave ourselves a range of comfort so that nobody freaked out and idealized, well, I'm not loved because nobody was there. Remember, we just always said sometime during the week of that day, that special day, we'll do something. And it kind of took all the pressure off us. And so we're not really a day family. We're 90% of the time, sometimes it's more than a week, but 90% of the time, Oh yeah, we had my special day, my special dinner, my special visitor, whatever, in the week of, and it took all the pressure off.
You change the expectations. I think that's a great idea.
Well, and
And
they
think about the range you got. You got 24 hours if you're going to be a day person to make the person happy. And there's a lot at stake there. If you say, how's your calendar? Tuesday's not good, but Friday is it's 3 days away from your birthday. And everybody goes, well, yeah, fine.
that's a great thing, and they call it the season, right? It's the
Oh, they call
season.
it the season.
And I
Yes.
think that's wonderful. And going back to those beginning pieces about not overdoing it and feeling drained, like to be able to spread out the time, the gifts, the celebrations over that season, I'm sure would help alleviate some of that. Let's try not to see everyone and do everything within this, 24 or 48-hour time. So, really leaning on the season. That's great.
Now, as we kind of get ready to, oh, I love it, wrap up this episode, this Christmas episode.
Have you been
here.
waiting for this moment,
Oh,
Gilbert?
yeah, that was like a softball pitch that I've been waiting to use that the whole time. So yeah, so as we're wrapping this up, John, what do you think there's the takeaway tip you'd like for folks to walk away with today?
I guess the number one takeaway tip would be do all the things we said, the ones that, you know, that kind of stress out that character part of you the most. A few tasks. It doesn't take but a few minutes to do it. But remember that once you've done that and you've taken care of yourself and you feel healthier, get out of yourself a little bit. You know, there's Salvation Armies to go to, and there's food shelters, and take care of your family, but get beyond your family. God wants us to salt and pepper the whole earth, and you'll feel great that you felt healthy enough to go give to a world that needs Jesus.
That's beautiful. And this is it's good to do that year round, but this is a wonderful time to do it. So many extra opportunities available this season. That's a great way to wrap it up, way to put a bow on top of that one there, John.
Oh
I
my
like that.
gosh, you're encouraging Gilbert, Ashley. This is not gonna go well for you.
We're like made for this. I'm not sure, but
No, we are.
well, it was a great takeaway tip. I also have to know some of these fun things, Sean. I need to know what's your favorite Christmas carol? What are you excited to sing in church or at
Okay.
home around the tree?
Well, I was going to say, I have a favorite Christmas carol, hymn carol, and I've got a favorite like regular marketplace one. Which one would?
I want both of it. I want both of them. Extra points if you want to sing it for us too, but
You're not getting that. I'm really particular, probably to "Oh Holy Night." Grew up
mm,
with it. My mother
mhm,
was an opera trained person and always led choirs, and my dad was a jazz pianist. And when they lit into it, man, it was
mm,
pretty cool. And I get emotional about that one. And
yeah,
then my kind of like regular marketplace one is, um, it's got lots of names. The Chestnut song, but it's not. I think "Merry Christmas to You," chestnuts roasting on. I think it's called a Christmas song. Anyway, chestnuts roasting on open fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Jack Frost knew Piggy knows.
yeah,
I like it because it just gives you these memories of like what's it like. I mean, even the world's not really like that in most places and very
yeah.
few. But you just start thinking it's doing things with people that you care about at a time you can take away, and just be emotionally present with people. Those are my two.
Oh, those are great. Hey, maybe we'll see it on a Bandits Christmas album in the future. Maybe
Oh,
you and the band need to.
Yeah, we'll drop it on Spotify. I'll give you a call.
Okay, that sounds good. What about you, Gilbert? You have a favorite carol?
hmm. Well,
Clearly, you have a favorite movie.
yeah, well, you gotta watch the National Lampoons every year. You gotta watch that. That goes right. That's high up there. The Drummer Boy, I like that one. But Joy to
Mhm.
the World, I always
Oh yeah, yeah.
that's a good one. One that got extra significance too is my father-in-law told me about Silent Night, how that makes him emotional every time because he was in the Vietnam War and they
Mm.
were there during Christmas and they sang that before they all went out to a battle and were gone for
Oh my
2 weeks.
gosh.
And a lot
Wow.
of people didn't come back.
Wow,
So when he hears that, that puts him back into
Mm.
those emotions and
that's
things.
very
Mhm.
significant for him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very, very significant. Wow.
What about you, Ashley?
That's very good. Well, Gilbert, of course, like all things, you would take mine. Mine would definitely be Joy to the World, right? That one just puts a smile on my face and definitely warms the heart. And I would say this time of year, again, with young kids, those of you that haven't watched The Star, the movie, it's an animated take on the Christmas story with animals. But let me tell you, it's amazing. It's amazing. The Star, highly recommend. So some big names in there.
Is that on like Netflix or?
Well, that's a good question. I think I bought it a couple years ago, and it was probably the best $5.99 I've ever spent. So, some big names in that one. Oprah's in there, her voice, and Kristen Chenoweth sings, and it's really something. So, gives me chills. Well, John, we can't thank you enough for spending some time with us. Like we said, amidst the hustle and bustle that comes with this season, and so thank you for taking the time and giving all of us just a little pointers to sit back, relax, take it all in, and enjoy. Remember the reason for the season, right? The celebration of Christ Jesus. And thank you all for tuning in to another episode and another year of the Townsend Institute podcast series. We can't thank you all enough. And hey, we're looking forward to 2025.
So Merry Christmas to our family.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
If you enjoy the Townsend Institute podcast series, head to our website at cui.edu/Townsend to find out more about the certificates, bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees offered through Concordia University, Irvine. With programs in mental health counseling, executive coaching and consulting, and organizational leadership, we have a variety of faith-based programs dedicated to helping you fulfill your academic and professional goals, all the while furthering your competence, character, and connection. Again, that's cui.edu/Townsend.